Tell us about yourself and what motivated you to run for the Arizona State Legislature.
Okay, well, I moved to Arizona back in 1996, and I met my husband. We have been in the area for about 30 years. We've raised our children here, built our businesses here, and my husband is the current representative. I'm sure you probably know that for our district. So I've been a little bit involved in politics, but I graduated from ASU with a degree in political science. So I have a little bit of a background in it. And it's something that has interested me. But the last 15 years or so, I've been working with nonprofits and specifically abused children, children in foster care, things like that. So I just felt like it was time to step up and do a little bit more. My husband has been such a good champion for all the things that I've asked him to help with, but now he's running for mayor, so I'm stepping in.
Okay. What professional or personal experiences best prepare you to represent the business community in Gilbert and the East Valley?
Well, I would say running our restaurants has been a great experience. I used to be the general manager of our restaurant Floridinos years ago before I had my son. And yeah, it was great. It was very busy and it's only gotten busier. So we've made it through all the downturns, and it's just been a very great experience of learning and seeing what red tape can do and what it can do to just have it. We have the same employees for like 20 years now that have been there. We have a low turnover rate. I think we do things very well. And I feel like that's a good experience for the business community and seeing what needs to be done as far as regulations and stuff like that. And yeah.
Okay. Arizona has built a reputation as a pro-business state. What policies do you believe are most important to maintain Arizona's economic competitiveness and ensure that businesses continue to invest and create jobs in Gilbert and throughout the state?
Well, having a low tax rate is crucial. And the flat tax 2.5 is a good start. We need to keep that going. But also removing some of the regulations, anything that's burdensome or causing problems, and also having predictability and the same regulations throughout the state so that there's not patchwork all over the place and people know what they're getting into. I believe that we should have a workforce ready for what's coming. We should spend a little bit more time on our education system and getting them ready, the workforce, for the jobs that are coming. Is that okay?
Yeah. Dan?
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
What role should the legislature play in strengthening workforce pipelines through K-12 education, community colleges, universities, and career training programs?
Well, I believe that we should definitely support that. That's something that I really want to see happen. And so we can do that by collaborating with these organizations, with these schools, and bringing people together and creating grants policy that will work together for that purpose.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What role should the state play in supporting transportation, infrastructure, and water infrastructure and other key systems necessary for continued business growth?
Would you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Sure. I'll rephrase. What role should the state play in supporting infrastructure programs such as transportation, water, or other key systems necessary for business growth?
Well, I believe that we should encourage innovation in transportation solutions and things like that. And as far as the water, we need to, I think we're on a good path with that right now. Everybody talks about it like it's a crisis, but I believe that Arizona's done a pretty good job with the water and being, what's the word? Just having everything. They have a long-term plan that I believe is good, and we should maintain what is moving forward right now with what they've been doing. And yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what the last part of the question was again.
Well, and any other key infrastructure programs.
Okay. Well, I believe that as far as with infrastructure, we just need to make sure that we're growing and keeping up with the growth and reducing any regulations that are barriers. But I think that we have to invest in infrastructure. It's crucial, but we want to make sure that we keep it to where the growth is at the same pace, so we don't get behind.
Thank you, Janet. I'm going to build on that a bit more.
Okay.
Again, regarding what role the state should play, is there a specific transportation or infrastructure project that you feel is important for our community?
No, I don't have one in the top of my head that comes to mind, but I just no, you stumped me on that. I don't know.
Let's
Sorry.
switch to housing.
Housing?
Housing. When it comes to housing availability and workforce housing, what policies, if any, should the state consider in stating to improve housing supply while maintaining appropriate roles for local communities in planning and zoning decisions?
Well, I believe that the state has a role to play. We need to reduce regulations as much as possible so that we can keep up with the housing market, the need. I believe that there are currently probably too many barriers in the way for growth on that. So that's something we need to look into and work on. And that's something the state needs to do and work with the builders and see that costs are lower and that everything, the red tape, the streamlined process to make it easier for housing to be moving forward. Yeah.
Thank you, Janet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. How do you view the balance between state authority and local decision making when it comes to economic development, housing, and business regulation?
Well, I believe that local government has control of the things local, but when it comes to things that are going to impact the entire state and development and economic, then we need to make sure that we have a uniform standard so that businesses can grow and that we have houses that we don't end up with a crisis, but we have what we need moving forward. When it comes to local government, we want them to have as much as possible, but we don't want them to be a bunch of different regulations all over so that it makes it confusing. We want a set, I believe that's what I think, but should be at least set standard.
Can you share a specific issue you hope to champion when it comes to that balance between state and local?
Specific issue. Well, I believe that there's something more we could do with the workforce readiness as a state, that I would like to champion that and see that we are maybe even creating like a council to come together that can oversee. I was looking into different states and I saw that Texas had a really cool, which I think Arizona maybe did in the past, but just they set up to where they have an actual council that works together to make sure that the people are coming out, the students are coming out ready for the work that's available. So I think that's something I would champion for sure. I know that is.
Well, and going back to water a little bit, what role should the legislator play in supporting responsible water management while ensuring that communities like Gilbert can continue to attract business and residents?
Well, I believe that we have to, it's harder than I thought it was going to be. The water, well, we have to just be responsible with everything and transparent. Those things are key. And when it comes to the growth, would you say the growth of the community?
Yeah, just supporting responsible water management while ensuring that the community continues to attract business.
Well, I believe they're doing a pretty good job with that right now. And just being aware of the growth and the responsibility of the business that are coming in, what they require, like with the level of usage of those things, and maybe making sure that there's infrastructure in place so that there's not a crisis later with it.
Well, and our last question, what is one policy issue affecting Arizona business community that you believe the legislator should prioritize over the next 2 years?
Well, as far as the business being, I think that we could look at the personal property taxes for businesses. I think that could be worked on a little bit. I would like to see that go down. And I think that's something I would focus on. And also with just the workforce readiness, having the students prepared for the jobs that are available for them.